A vault with no known combination, a museum with no working alarms, a weekend when a whole city looked away. These heists weren't supposed to be possible. That didn't stop anyone. Story 1. The Antwerp Diamond Heist, 2003.
Antwerp's Diamond Center wasn't just a bank vault, it was considered one of the most secure rooms on Earth. 10 layers of security, motion, heat, and seismic sensors, a vault door 2 feet of solid steel.
Leonardo Notarbartolo, an Italian jewel thief, spent years posing as a diamond merchant, quietly renting office space inside the building just to study the vault from the inside. Over the February weekend of the heist, his crew disabled the alarm using a trick as simple as hairspray to block a heat sensor, then bypassed magnetic locks and picked the vault's combination, reportedly recorded using a hidden camera months earlier. Once inside, they cracked open more than 100 safe deposit boxes, making off with diamonds, gold, and jewelry estimated at over $100 million, with no alarms ever triggered. But on the way out, one of the crew ditched a bag of evidence in nearby bushes, including a half-eaten sandwich with his DNA on it and paperwork tying the whole crew together. Notarbartolo was arrested and convicted, but to this day, the vast majority of the stolen diamonds have never been recovered. The Antwerp thieves beat one of the best defended vaults in the world. In Boston, 2 men wouldn't need to defeat any security system at all because they simply talked their way past the front door. Story 2. The Isabella Stewart Gardner Museum Heist, 1990. In the early hours of March 18, 1990, 2 men dressed as Boston police officers buzzed the side door of the Isabella Stewart Gardner Museum, claiming they were responding to a disturbance call. The night guard let them in, a violation of museum protocol. Within minutes, both guards were handcuffed, duct taped, and left in the basement, and the officers had the entire museum to themselves. Over the next 81 minutes, they moved room to room, cutting paintings, including works by Rembrandt and Vermeer, straight out of their frames, leaving the empty frames hanging exactly where they'd been. They left with 13 works of art, now valued at over $500 million, and simply drove away. No alarms, no pursuit, no leads for years. More than 3 decades later, not a single piece has ever been recovered. The museum still hangs the empty frames, waiting for a return that may never come.
In Boston, 2 men in fake uniforms simply walked in the front door. In London, a very different crew would go the opposite direction entirely, straight down into the ground on a bank holiday weekend when nobody was watching. Story 3. The Hatton Garden Heist, 2015. Hatton Garden, London's historic jewelry district, was home to a safe deposit company that held valuables for hundreds of local businesses, protected by a vault door nobody thought could be beaten. The crew who planned it weren't young professionals. Most were retired career criminals in their 60s and 70s, some with decades-old reputations in the London underworld. Over the Easter bank holiday weekend of 2015, when the building would sit empty for days, they disabled the lift, climbed down the shaft, and drilled directly through nearly 2 feet of reinforced concrete into the vault wall. Once inside, they spent 2 nights cracking open more than 70 safe deposit boxes, hauling out cash, jewelry, and gold worth an estimated £14 million. Despite their experience, the gang was caught within weeks, undone by their own getaway cars, caught on nearby CCTV, and one member's phone that police were able to trace. Most of the crew, some in their 70s, were sentenced to prison. The Hatton Garden gang worked in silence over a quiet holiday weekend. In Las Vegas, one heist would happen in the middle of a packed casino floor, hiding in plain sight, right under the cameras. Story 4. The Bellagio Casino Heist, 2010. In December 2010, a lone man walked into the Bellagio Casino in Las Vegas wearing a full motorcycle helmet, hiding his face from the thousands of cameras watching the floor. He walked straight up to a high-stakes poker table, pulled a handgun, and ordered the dealers to hand over the chips, over $1.5 million in casino chips, taken in under a minute.
He walked calmly back out, climbed onto a motorcycle waiting outside, and disappeared into Las Vegas traffic, still wearing the helmet the entire time.
What the robber may not have known, the casino simply voided the entire batch of stolen chip denominations, making the chips instantly worthless anywhere in the building. He was identified and arrested about a year later, undone not by police work chasing him down, but by his own bragging to people close to him about what he'd done. The Bellagio job was fast, loud, and over in a minute. In Los Angeles, the largest cash heist in American history would look almost boring on paper, because the man responsible for it was supposed to be the one guarding the money.
Story 5. The Dunbar Armored Robbery, 1997. Alan Pace worked as a security guard at Dunbar Armored, a company that processed and stored enormous amounts of cash for banks across Los Angeles. He knew the building's blind spots better than anyone. Pace recruited a small crew of childhood friends, mapped out the facility's camera angles and shift changes, and picked the one night each week the vault held the most uncounted cash. On September 12, 1997, the crew slipped inside during a shift change, disabled the security cameras, and loaded nearly $19 million in cash into a truck, the largest cash robbery in U.S. history at the time. For a while, they got away with it completely, until members of the crew started spending their share on cars, real estate, and lifestyles far beyond what their day jobs could explain. The spending patterns caught investigators' attention, and over the following years, the FBI slowly built a case, eventually arresting Pace and most of his crew. A vault beaten with hairspray, a museum fooled by fake badges, a wall drilled open over a long weekend, a casino robbed in under a minute, a guard who knew exactly where to look. Different targets, same truth. The biggest weakness in any security system is always the people running it.